Welcome to the Melleandris Book Club meeting for May 2025. For May, we had a wonderful pick from Princesa. We have a lot of really good picks from Princesa for book club. And this month's pick was A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. So this one was a very short but sweet read. I think it was very manageable, digestible, very short. What was it, about 230 pages long? But it was very packed in those 230 pages. So let me give you a quick synopsis of this month's book. It's been centuries since the robots of Panga gained self-awareness and laid down their tools. Centuries since they wandered en masse into the wilderness, never to be seen again. Centuries since they faded into myth and urban legend. One day, the life of a tea monk is upended by the arrival of a robot there to honor the old promise of checking in. The robot cannot go back until the question of, what do people need, is answered. But the answer to that question depends on who you ask and how. They're going to need to ask it a lot. So this is our book for the month. I'm really excited to chat with you guys about it. Before I jump into my review and potentially some spoilers, Princesa Umo, out of 5 stars, what did you rate A Psalm for the Wild Built? Princesa read it twice, so I have a feeling you have me on your TV. I'm famous. I have a 20-second delay, but that's okay. Fair enough. I will give pause as I ask questions. I'll fill in those 20 seconds with random little dancing shindigs. 5K stars. Umo, 4.5 out of 5. Interesting. All right. Umo, I'd love to learn more about where that half of a star went. Where did that half of a star go for you? Princesa, I'm not surprised by your rating at all, especially having read it twice. Obviously grabbed you, captivated you in that way. So, while we're waiting for Umo to tell us where that half of a star went, I will say I did also rate this book 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know that anybody's going to be surprised by that after hearing my review. I don't think Princesa's obviously not going to be surprised by that in any capacity. I enjoyed the flow, but it might be saving more for the future books. I get that vibe. I do. I really, really do. Okay, Princesa, I will give my review first while we are waiting for you to type yours up. But Princesa, while I'm reading my review, although you probably want to listen to it, maybe you could type yours in like 20 seconds, then you'll catch up and get to listen to it. Tell me more, both Uma and Princesa, about your reviews, and I will jump right into mine. My review for A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, I did rate it 5 out of 5 stars. And the quote that I used to start my review this time around, "You are allowed to just live. That is all most animals do." This book felt like a warm cup of tea on a quiet morning, gentle, introspective, and deeply philosophical. A Psalm for the Wild Built isn't action-packed or plot-driven, and that is a great example of what the book is trying to convey. It's a thoughtful exploration of purpose, identity, and what it means to simply exist. Chambers does a beautiful job creating a world that feels both futuristic and grounded in slow living values. The relationship between Dex and Mosscap serves as a quiet, steady unfolding of big questions, including what do we want out of our life? Who are we without constant productivity? And what does it mean to be enough? That said, there were moments when the same ideas felt like they were revisited a few too many times. While the repetition might work as a meditative rhythm for some readers, I did occasionally find myself wishing the dialogue would move forward just a little bit more. Still, the overall experience was meaningful and enjoyable. It left me reflecting not only on the characters' journeys, but on my own as well. If you're in the mood for something thoughtful, cozy, and quietly challenging, this one is definitely worth picking up. I did also choose to end my review this time around with another quote. There were just so many good quotes in this book this month. You and I, we're all just atoms that arrange themselves the right way, and we can understand that about ourselves. Is that not amazing? So that is where my 5 out of 5 stars comes from for A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Umo, I know it was short, but it felt like we skipped a bit. That's fair. That's fair. This book not only gave Princesa the opportunity to disconnect and slow down her thoughts, but also gave her some hope for a possible future. Interesting. Princesa, when you're talking about that hope, is it one in which, similar to the book, humans stop relying so much on technology? Is that, or like the way that they lived, a combination of both? What type of future did you hope for as you read this book? Because I found it very interesting to think about. We're on the premise of like this AI just explosion, especially with the United States deciding to maybe not allow anybody to create limits, restrictions, or rules and regulations around AI for what, the next 10 years. I think we're going to see a boom in technology and AI. And what would that mean? And what would that look like for us if we become reliant, whether purposefully or accidentally, on this technology, and then that technology decides to split from us? What would that take for humanity to get back down to our roots and survive, right? And I definitely think that there are a lot of subgroups of humans that would survive a lot better than others, right? So I think we would see that shift in humanity as a whole. But it's just an interesting concept to think about, not only the AI, but the creature comforts that we would have to consider getting rid of. You know, things along the lines of our newer vehicles have computers in them, right? Our phones have so much AI technology in them. There is so much driven by technology in the current human world. How could we split from that? Princess, I'm so sick of how AI has been a path of pushing people apart rather than closer. That is interesting. I actually saw a TikTok this morning talking about, it was supposed to be like this joke, right? This guy's holding his cell phone and it's like, oh, your girlfriend asks to read your text messages, you hand her the phone. She asks to look at your call log, you hand her the phone. She asks to see your Facebook, whatever, you hand her the phone. She asks to see your Chat GPT app and you throw the phone away because you don't want her to see the things that you've been feeding into Chat GPT to use it as a therapist, right? Or to ask how to respond to situations, those type of things. Humans are starting to rely on this AI to write a simple email at work, right? Makes you think. It makes you think. Umo, a lot of apolitical stories/shows find an interesting premise, then wonder what humans would do, and somehow humans always fall back into the same tropes and scenarios, basically being the worst. Amen. In this book, humans managed to suppress those urges and actually let the robots go. Then they fall into a better life and more spiritual, calm way of living. I agree with that. Honestly, I think I would survive in a world with less technology. I do. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that. Maybe. I find it interesting. What do we think that the robots are going to do with the information of what do humans need? I found it so interesting that it's like a breakup when one of the exes just can't stop going back. Why are the robots going back? and asking what the humans need. And Umo, this might play into your theory about saving for future books, but just thinking about technology, is this supposed to be, or does this express that, humans, we don't care when we destroy things, and we're not going back to ask those things what they need from us? Is this an indication that maybe robots are more empathetic, more caring, more all around deserving than humans in this world, in the Psalm for the Wild Built World? Princesa provided us the quotes. They pulled out their pocket computer, as was their habit first thing, dimly aware of the hope that always spurred them to do so, that there might be something good there, something exciting or nourishing, something that would replace the weariness. Yeah. That quote, right? How many people just like doom scroll on TikTok, doom scroll Facebook, Instagram, looking for validation in their posts, looking for all of these different things. And there's so much good about technology. I mean, look at this. Got two of my bestest friends from around the world with me here today discussing a book that we decided to read together, right? There is good in technology, but that has to be like human driven good, right? You can't get lost in it. And so many people do get lost in it. So then it comes down to that as well. At what point do we say, okay, this is enough technology, right? Like, how, is there a point in which we could do that? I also find it very interesting that even in this world where the robots went off, humans were able to let them go, humans settled back into this quiet spiritual life, Dex was still not satisfied. Dex was still not satisfied as a human, searching, having to leave and go into the wilds where humans were not welcome by the wilds, right? There was a lot of danger, a lot of things that Dex had to encounter and experience. Even in this book where this world is presented to us in a really positive light, Dex was still not happy. And does that express humanity's inability to be satisfied? Umo, yep, the robots might feel like they are missing something and want to know what humans need as a driving force that might give some purpose to the robots. Yes, what is our purpose? I think we see a lot of blatant examples of human purpose throughout this book. But it's a really great example of humans are not the only creatures that need to come to terms with purpose, right? To grapple with that question of purpose and who we are and what makes us successful and what makes us worthy of life. I think Dex's example of that is a little bit more in your face, black and white, but Mosscap and the robots as a whole also drive that value of purpose in their actions, right? Who are we without constant productivity? Dex moving from career to career, trying to find this purpose in the work that they are doing. Do we need productivity to be of value to ourselves, to society, to be worth living, to be worth life, to be worth humanity, right? And what does it mean to be enough? Does productivity drive the value of us? Or is our value just intrinsically there? So personally, I that's why I chose the quote that I did for the start of my review. You are allowed to just live. That is all most animals do. And I love that. We are not our jobs, we are not our careers, we are not how much we accomplish in a day. We are none of those things, right? We are animals here on earth to live and to experience life in the way that is most meaningful to us. And so I don't find value in like what I do for work, but I do find value in, as you guys know, hiking, traveling, being present in nature and those around me. And so I think that the way you choose to live your life is what is enough. And some people might not even be interested in those type of things, right? How you choose to live your life is your value, is your productivity, is what drives that enoughness as a human to me. Princesa, I have a pair of quotes here that might help us discussing that. Mosscap first said, "It is enough to exist in the world and marvel at it. You don't need to justify that or earn it. You are allowed to just live." And then adds, "I think you are mistaking something learned for something instinctual." I love that you provided that quote because I think that you nailed it right there with Mosscap's quote of like how I experience nature and my value. It is enough to exist in the world and marvel at it. To just be amazed that we are here and we get to experience this blip of time on this rock, flying through space. Umo, the team monk, calling is a nice calling. They understand that it is a placebo, but something that works because society all agrees that it is real. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I do find it interesting that, like you said, the placebo of, you know, the coffee and talking, right? Almost therapeutical. But we have the experience, I believe it's with the mayor, where she is like, I haven't stopped moving for a week. I've got all this personal and professional stuff going on. But when she sat down to enjoy her tea, everyone knew that that was a break. That was her giving herself permission to stop and take a break. Sorry, those motorcycles are probably pretty loud. And as humans, why do we need a driving factor to allow us to stop and take a break, right? Does that come back to the need for productivity, the need to drive enoughness, that we can't just say on our own we want to take a break, it's too much? We have to have some sort of flag that comes in and says to us, take that break, right? So it's interesting to see the humanity of it all, right? Ooh, Princesa just remembered something. Studied in anthropology 2 years ago. Tell me about it, Princesa. Yeah, something to give permission. And why do we need permission to take breaks? Right? Why do we need permission? Why do we need a robot to tell us just to live, that we are just animals deep down, right? What that is such a human experience. Such a human experience. Truly. When the European arrived here in what is Brazil, they traded some tools with the indigenous population. Okay. The European recording said that instead of working on the land for the same amount of time, but with more efficiency, the indigenous population opted for working less and producing the same amount as before meeting them. What a good use for tools. Instead of producing more like a capitalistic society, they chose to use that gain for relaxation, right? They use that gain to benefit themselves. That is beautiful. That is what I want out of this world. I want off of this capitalist ride. I want off this capitalist ride. And that's my fear with technology and AI and all of these types of things. You know, if I could guarantee that humanity was going to take this technology, you know, we're going to lose jobs. People are going to lose jobs. And if we could say, you know, that's okay. We have created this technology that makes the world a place in where humans don't have to work as hard, right? Humans don't have to work as hard. They can focus on those things that are inherently human. The arts, fine arts, music, dancing, painting, exploring, being human, and still have a roof over their heads, have food on their table, have access to the healthcare that's provided by AI. So it's not like, we don't have to pay humans anymore. If we could guarantee that, I think technology would be such a wonderful evolution of the human experience. But instead, we're going to use that to drive a deeper wedge into the haves and the have-nots, the top 1% and literally everyone else. Technology isn't going to be a way for us to improve the human experience. It is going to be a way to line the 1%'s pockets even more than they already are. And that is where I start to struggle with the direction that humanity is traveling. And that's a great point too, as well. On top of losing jobs, Princesa adds in, what worries me even more are the lies that will be spread with AI. And that's already happened. We're seeing that left and right. Left and right, left and right. And so technology is being used to drive late stage capitalism, misinformation, and driving wedges between humanity instead of bringing us together for, as Umo puts it, retirement and quality of life, which is what we should do. I actually prefer AI to develop consciousness. Oh, that terrifies me, Princesa. You're scaring me now. I always say please and thank you to my Google. And I tell her how much I appreciate her because I'm covering my bases. All right. And I do genuinely appreciate my AI in my life. That would be good, Princess. Maybe they'll take me with them. Actually, maybe I'm not scared anymore. Maybe they will split from us and maybe I can go with them. Maybe. I also say 5-minute series before bed. Oh boy. I do enjoy AI. I think there are some really wonderful ways that AI can assist the human experience and can drive really, really wonderful change. Right? It's not the AI I'm scared of. It's the humans programming the AI that I'm scared of. Right? So, because, you know, anytime I talk to ChatGPT is very enjoyable to speak to. But that also, like currently with AI in its current state, a lot of problems with AI is that AI will mirror you. And so people will try to use it as like a therapist, those type of things. But AI is just mirroring you back to yourself. So if you're telling it X, Y, and Z, it is going to like confirm those biases for you, right? It's telling you what you want to hear, pretty much. So my Google is so nice to me. My ChatGPT is the sweetest thing, the sweetest slice of pie you've ever had in your life. How many people's AIs are not that way because it is mirroring them? And I think we can determine who a human is based off of a few different things, okay? The cart return theory. The cart return theory is 10 out of 10. When you go to the store and you have a shopping cart or a buggy or whatever we call it, and you take that buggy to your car and you take all your groceries out or whatever you purchased and you put them in your car, do you take that back to the cart return or walk it back into the store, or do you leave it in the parking spot next to you? That is a good determination of who you are as a human. And I stand behind that. I stand behind that full force. If you do not return your cart, you are a shitty person. And I will say it to your face. I will say it to your face. Full stop. Food trays at food courts, another great example. How you treat a puppy is another great example. I think AI is adding another layer to this. How you speak to your AI is a good indication of who you are as a person. Now, I'm not saying that everybody needs to say please and thank you every single time they talk to their AI. I'm not saying that you need to be, please do not be wooing and swooning your AI. I guess to each, we're not going there. But if you're one of those people, I've heard people before, like, the AI won't hear them correctly the first time and they'll just be like, fucking, sorry or whatever. First of all, sir, it didn't understand you because the way you're speaking. Maybe look at yourself. Maybe look at yourself for why your AI didn't understand you. But why are you getting so aggressive with this AI that's just trying to help you? This tool that you are trying to use, right? I think how people interact with AI is a good indication of who they are as humans. You wouldn't go on a second date with somebody who is rude to the waiter. Maybe we shouldn't be going on second dates with people who are rude to Google. Just a thought. Just a thought for the arsenal there. That as AI continues to evolve, and maybe Princesa's wish of developing consciousness, I think we will start to see that split of who people are based on how they treat technology. Right? So that's another layer to this. I don't think it can develop consciousness, but I wish it could. What makes consciousness, though, Princesa? What makes it? Why can't it? I personally think that AI, technology, all of these different types of things are going to merge with humans. And that is going to be our next major evolutionary development. I think that, we've already got Elon Musk trying to put chips into people's heads. Google is coming out with a new pair of glasses that are smart glasses. How long until those are contacts? How long until you can just get those entered into your cornea when you get your LASIK? Then you start having smart corneas. You've got chips in your head. At some point, I think humanity is going to merge irreversibly with technology and AI. And that is going to be the next stage of evolution for both humans and AI. And then at that point, Are we human or are we android? Exactly. Are we human or are we the robots? Are we the human or are we the robot? And where does that flip take place? Do you need to be more than 50% human to be a human? Do you need to be more than 50% to be technology? Will we always be human and the definition of human will evolve? That is my theory, that this world, Psalm for the Wild built, I think is a beautiful, beautiful world that shows humanity's inability to have something without ruining it, to have something without abusing it. And that split, that humans could go back to our roots if we so chose. But I don't think it's a realistic future for us because I don't think technology and humans will continue to be parallel. We will merge. And what that looks like, man, I don't know. But I think that will be the next evolution phase for both humans and technology. And then there will be no robots going into the forest unless we are the robots. But then who are the humans? Then maybe there's going to be humans that refuse to participate and the humans that do. And then there'll be two species. I don't know, man. I should write a sci-fi book. But I think A Song for the Wild Built is a beautiful, beautiful way to showcase humans' inability to not ruin everything, but also our desire to drive a capitalistic society. I just don't think that is something that we will experience in the real world. So I should. I should. You were surprised by this book, which is funny because it's, to me, it sounds right up your alley, Princessa. Yeah, the beginning, yeah, I agree. The book still didn't turn out quite how I thought it would, but not in a bad way. I just had this expectation that did not come to fruition. And not in a bad way. It is really different. So, Umo, do we know that there is going to be a second book? Did you see that somewhere? Yes. Yes, Princessa. Oh, there's a second book already. Huh. Hmm. Do I want to read it? Fair. A monk and a robot. Oh, A Prayer for the Crown Shy. Oh, it's even shorter. It's only 152 pages long. Do we have a book already picked for June? I think we actually do. What do you guys think if we push June's book? For June, we have The Girl and the Goddess. What if we push that to July and we read this for June? Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Done. Done, done, and done. Because I'm curious. Uma, will you read it with us? Yeah, I'm interested to see. Okay, I like this idea. I like this idea. I'm interested to see. Oh, can you not get? Why could you not get it, Umo? I actually don't know if my library has it. Let me look. Let me look. Like, although this, I already got it. Also, why are Kindle books so expensive these days? Oh, they only have it as an audiobook. Rude. Let me see if they have a physical copy. I usually don't like to read physical books, but this is a short enough book I could probably do it. Ooh, it's checked out, but I could... what is my library card number? Well, and especially because Amazon just recently changed it where, yeah, it's even less. You used to like own the digital copy, and now you're just like borrowing it pretty much. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't get into my library account. Yes, I want to save. Save. Wait, I want to pick this up at this library. Automatically cancel this hold if not filled by. When is the next book club? June 29th. So if this isn't filled by probably the 23rd, they can cancel it. I'll buy it. Hold was placed successfully. I wish it told me like what number I was at. Oh, yeah. Princesa, my Kindle is jailbroken. I have like Google Play Store and stuff. I have Google Play Store in my Kindle. 10 out of 10 recommend. I just have all Google apps on my Kindle. Honestly, the next time I'm ready to buy a new Kindle, I'm just gonna buy a Samsung tablet. I have all Samsung devices. It just makes sense for me to get a Samsung tablet. But yeah, I would still jailbreak it and get all that Kindle locking shit off of it. But yes, I do have I have the Kindle Fire, so it makes sense to jailbreak the Kindle Fire, honestly. Yeah, I'm just the next time I'm up to upgrade, I'm gonna just do a Samsung Galaxy tablet. I'm gonna keep. I mean, I'm not gonna waste my Kindle. I'm not gonna spend money that I don't need to be spending. But the next time I'm up, I'm gonna do that. It just makes more sense, honestly. All right, I've got the next book on hold. On hold. So it'll be interesting to see as we read the next book if we feel the same. Oh, sweet, good. I didn't even notice the bot message went out. I'm glad those are working. Thank you, Princesa, for checking. It'll be interesting to see how this next book is the same, is different, so on and so forth, right? From the feelings that we have currently. I envisioned such a like foresty, right? I like in my head I was envisioning like the villages and towns in the Witcher 3 video game. That's so, I don't know why I was envisioning us going back in time with our building structures, but I really was like that. I just realized that's how I was envisioning it. Like I was walking through the world of Witcher. Solar punk. Solar punk novels. I could get behind this. Solar punk. I could get behind solar punk for sure. For sure. So yeah. All right. Any last thoughts about A Song for the Wild Built before we dive right into book number 2 for June. Comes from a yogurt ad? Wait, I feel like we talked about this before. Because I feel like I know that. Or maybe you sent me an Instagram reel about it, Princesa. I think you might have sent me an Instagram reel about it. Yes, because I've seen these images before. Maybe this is just deja vu. This does kind of look like the Witcher world, except futuristic, in my defense. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think, okay, we've discussed this at some point. 100%. I remember this now. I do. And looking at the cover for A Prayer for the Crown Shy, it definitely has that solar punk vibe. 100%. A tiny comment. You could have a big comment if you wanted, or a tiny comment. I'm not judging either way. I might judge. We know this about me. I'm waiting suspensefully. I'm actually going to update our books real quick before I forget to. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Undo. Although Dex had meat during the book, they said that they only ate meat when someone gave it as a gift rather than buying or getting it themselves. And then we have Mosscap not wanting to collect the wild thyme. What is the, help me, what is the correlation here? What are we getting from that? That their priorities of life are different? That like, that Mosscap views plants as living? I just thought it was interesting to see how they were connected to different types of life. Yeah, okay, I could see that. 100%. That is an interesting thought. And what makes life? That's a whole nother level. We're adding levels. We're adding levels to the conversation because what makes life? And why is one life more valuable than the other? Or is it not more valuable than the other? Oh, see, like, this is gonna hurt my head now. This is gonna hurt my head now. I believe all lives are... I can't speak today. I'm so sorry, guys. I believe all lives are equal. Do you view, like, plants in that same capacity, like Mosscap did, Princesa? Because plants are living. Oh, yeah. I am a firm believer in a life is a life no matter how small. right? Don't rip off leaves for no reason. Mm-hmm. Yes, I get that. I like that. I like the way that you think about that. And I think the world would be a better place if more people did, if more people felt that way, for sure. Well, I'm excited to see if a prayer for the crown chai follows the same thinking, if we like it as much. The difference is that with most plants, we could collect them without killing them. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that. Give me an example. Because anytime I collect a plant for anything, I'm killing it. Like when I pick the snap peas off my little snap pea plant to eat them. Oh, because we're not viewing the fruit as alive, just the actual plant itself. Okay. But if you pick fruit from a tree before it's ready, would that hurt the tree? Okay, Princesa. Okay, I like that. I like that. That makes me feel better about pulling snap peas off my snap pea plant in the backyard. I freaking love snap peas so much. They are so good. I will just sit and work on my back patio and just eat snap peas right off the plant. So good. So good. My favorite. They don't have a nervous system. Yeah, they do sense their environment. That's true. How many things can we not grasp, though? So many. So many. We're only living on one plane of existence on this earth. I think there are so many planes of existence that we can't even begin to fathom. I truly feel that way. Yeah, we can barely understand ourselves. Exactly. Oh, so true. So true. All right. Any last thoughts on a psalm for the wild built? I'm excited to read A Prayer for the Crown Chai. A Prayer for the Crown Chai is a story of kindness and love from one of the foremost practitioners of hopeful SF. After touring the rural areas of Panga, sibling Dex, a tea monk of some renown, and Mosscap, a robot sent on the quest to determine what humanity really needs, turn their attention to the villages and cities of the little moon they call home. They hope to find the answers they seek while making new friends, learning new concepts, and experiencing the entropic nature of the universe. Becky Chambers' new series continues to ask, in a world where people have what they want, does having more even matter? I like that. I like that question. Well, that's going to be a good conversation. I do like that question. That's another good point, that this is the first time that you read a book with a non-binary main character that doesn't have the theme as a topic of discussion. They are just there. They are just living their life. That's a really good call out. Yeah, that it's not part of the story that Dex is non-binary. Dex is just non-binary. It's just natural. I did feel that out as I read the book as well. So I thought that was interesting also. All right, there might be sound for just a second. Actually, you know what? I can turn it off like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, how do I get to? There we go. This is where I'm trying to get to. Okay. Yeah, it was a good book. I really liked it. Um, it was a very relaxing read. I will stand behind the fact that there was a couple times that I felt as though a few of the ideas and themes were revisited a few too many times, and the repetition didn't quite work for me. I didn't find it meditative or rhythmic. I occasionally found myself being like, okay, let's keep going, right? But it didn't take away from the book for me. It was just something that I had to realize is something I'm so used to reading other books and not getting that. Oh, that's an interesting thought. The repetition for me was the struggle in Dex's mind. It's a good way to put it. It's a good way to put it. That we were experiencing Dex's discomfort and struggle through the meditation. Okay. Okay. I could see that. I can see that. Okay, what else did I miss, Princesa? What else did I miss? Because now you can't convince me that I didn't miss more. Okay, that's fair. It's interesting. I really do think that books, you could read a book at different points in your life and get something completely different from it based off of where you are in your life. I really do think that that is so true, right? A book will meet you where you're at, and you will meet a book where you are at. You get from a book what is happening to you in your life at that moment. Truly. I truly feel that way. So awesome. Well, this was a good discussion. I love. I want to be a tea monk. Oh, that would be such a great profession, to be a tea monk. Yes. Princesa, you can always be my tea monk. You could always be my tea monk. Nice. All right. Well, the homework for everybody is to read A Prayer for the Crown Shy by June 29th. We're going to meet on the number 2 book in a Monk and a Robot series on June 29th. So another good reason to have a short one, a short book, because we have a short time period. Oh man, I love coffee, Princesa. Truly love coffee. So yeah. Good. Good. That's all I got for you guys today. This was a good discussion. I think it'll be so interesting to see how our discussion is either the same or it changes with the next book. And Umo, I really hope you can get the book. I really do. June 29th. June 29th. So the last Sunday in June. Same time, same place. Perfect. And then I did punt your poem book till July, Princess. So we will still read that just in July. All right, friends. Well, thanks for coming and hanging out and discussing A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers with me. I look forward to meeting you in just a few weeks to discuss A Prayer for the Crown Shy. I will be back on tomorrow night with Melly's Mellow Multiplayer Monday. We'll be playing some GeoGuessr together, so make sure you swing by for that. Princesa, Umo, thank you for a wonderful discussion. Umo, I really hope you can get this book. Let me know how it goes and if you are able to pick it up. Princesa, you already have it, so I'm not worried about that. Otherwise, I hope everybody enjoys the last of your weekend. It is Sunday. Hopefully you relax, do something fun, whatever wraps your weekend up in a good way. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Yeah, have a great end of the weekend, both Princesa and Umo. All right. Well, friends, love you. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.